What up, Challenge fans? This is Final Alliance Podcast, and I just finished watching the Challenge Global Championship Episode 4 titled World on Fire. Another week that I am here by myself. Unfortunately, Jay had baseball for his son, so it's just me this week. We're going to break down the episode as always, go over our categories. So let's get started. Jonna and Ben start out talking. This is all, there's several conversations at once where we're breaking down the aftermath of Kellyanne and Jonna's feud, if you will, from last week, where they're friends and Jonna still chooses to vote Kellyanne in. One thing I didn't like in Jonna's conversation with Ben is she said that Kellyanne was screaming at the top of her lungs in their conversation after the elimination. I heard no screaming at the top of the lungs. She did say enough, but wasn't screaming at the top of their lungs. So I didn't really care for that when you're relaying information like that and you're putting a little bit more spice into it. Things get a little bit lost in translation. So didn't care for that. I did care for the fact that Kellyanne walks down the stairs at that point and sees the two of them having a conversation and chooses to just turn around, remove herself from the situation, just go back up the stairs. Then we have Tristan, who is Kellyanne's partner, talking to Zara. And, he's concerned because he's tied to Kellyanne. And now they've been into an elimination. And Kellyanne was nervous and kind of sort of made herself a target by some of the things she said and the way she reacted. And that's going to affect his game too. So he's just hoping that things kind of settle down. Then we have Wes gassing himself up to Troy and Grant, which I love. And then you see him talking to Justine and Danny, just about all of his skills and how wonderful he is. We also get to see a picture of his cute puppy Penny and his amazing wife Amanda, which I love. And I'm just a big fan of Wes, but this did make me really nervous because typically with foreshadowing, the people that we see in the beginning, sometimes that means they're going to go into an elimination. So I was worried. I'm like, does this mean that Wes is potentially going to go home this week? Luckily, we find out later that is not the case. It's actually the opposite, which, because I am not ready for my homie Wes to go home yet. So thank goodness for that. Casey and Bananas then are kind of watching Wes talk to everybody and make a little joke, just kind of saying basically that he's doing too much. Bananas said something along the lines of, he keeps doing the same trick every time, pulling a rabbit out of a hat and, learn something new, maybe learn to saw a woman in half or something. Tori and Rodrigo are dancing. Apparently everyone's way of getting to know Rodrigo is asking him to teach the salsa. Okay, whatever. Then we have Tori in an interview and she says, we're at this point now, episode 4. Remember, it's a 12 episode season. So we're a third of the way there. Where are we at the point yet of taking a big shot? Or are we going to do one more week of playing it, quote unquote, safe before we start taking big shots? Then we have, Naya talking. She's worried she's going to get voted in because Argentina seems to be the route that everyone is going as far as voting in, since Argentina's who's gone home so far. And then she speaks out about her situation with her health scare with vaping, which I was pretty moved by this. And she's talked about this on her Instagram. She actually has if you go to her reels, she has a 30-minute video where she really goes through what happened. But essentially, she vaped for 2 years, had a crazy bad reaction, was hospitalized, ended up with blood clots on her lungs. I mean, it was really scary. So now she speaks out against that, which I think is wonderful. She also then starts talking about what she would do about winning, or if she won. And then I start thinking, because Jay's always all about foreshadowing, does this mean Naya's going home? So there's the foreshadowing that we get in the beginning of the episode that we always tend to get. Jody and Darrell are having a conversation. Nice to see Darrell on our screen. God, we really haven't seen much of him this season yet. I hope that they're just holding out to show us more later. because he has just such a great personality and he's such a good athlete. They have a cute little joke. Darrell's like, have you spoken to your partner? And Jody says, I don't even know where he is. And then you see Ben-Ha meditating by the pool with like different scenes from the show that have happened so far, like as if he had been meditating, thinking about these things. Danny and Grant are having a conversation. Now, Danny is from USA. Grant is from Australia. They both are kind of seeing that there are some big hitters in the house that are used to running the game. Those people being Wes and Jordan. And those are not people that they want to be in the final with. So they're hoping to make a big shot now this is the time. Now we go into challenge day. So what I loved was this portion before the challenge was less than 10 minutes. Whereas last episode, we had basically a whole episode of this kind of stuff. Which, while I did not dislike last week's episode, I saw a lot of people on the internet did dislike last week's episode. I'm happy that we kind of cut that stuff short and got to business pretty quickly this week. On challenge day, we have TJ and Bronny, who is I said Bronny. It's not the paper towels. Bryony, the host of Challenge Australia. They're together. And I remember seeing at the beginning that it was going to be all the challenge hosts. And we saw all 4 of the hosts at the beginning on episode 1. And then we haven't seen the others since. So I'm like, okay, cool. Now there's 2, but I don't know where the other 2 are. But I was happy to see them. Obviously, everyone from Australia was as well. This challenge is called Gates of Hell. And I really liked this one. I thought this one was really freaking cool. 50 yards. There are 2 gates, one on either side of a long pathway. You have to run, get in the gate before it closes. Then you have 30 seconds to kind of get in place. There's a light that will light up green. At that point, the gate starts slowly opening. You run the 50 yards. As you are running, the gate is closing. You want to get through before the gate closes. And for it to count, both partners have to cross the gate. Go as many rounds as they have to, but if it gets to a certain point where there's a stalemate, it's just as long as whoever the one person at the end makes it wins. As a PE teacher, it's kind of reminded me of the PACER test, which is if you are not familiar, it is a cardiovascular endurance test. Kind of takes place of the mile run, and you run 20 meters to an audio where it beeps. So it goes beep. They run 20 meters. Got to get to there on time. Beep. Got to run back, and it progressively gets less seconds in between beeps. So this is like the PACER extreme. In fact, I kind of want to show this to my students and be like, we could be doing it this way. Although they might want to, because I thought it was really cool. Then there was like kind of a musical chairs element as well, because if you didn't get there on time, then you were out. And then the gate going down and people rolling under it is always an Indiana Jones just dream for everybody, right? You almost wish they had hats. My only beef with watching this, and I'm going to tell you right now, while I enjoyed this, the crowdedness and the contact is not my thing. So if it was more like the PACER, where you're not having to be, like sardines together and pushing and shoving, would love it as a competitor. But the having to push through people and the sardine factor, I not my jam. So I would think the only thing that could potentially make it better, in my opinion, would be do a female heat and a male heat. Just because, women can do anything. But there is a huge size and weight difference between a lot of these women and a lot of these men. And that can be kind of scary to have, a former NFL player, and Danny would never purposely hurt anybody in these situations, especially a female. But to have them like beside you or behind you trucking, that's scary. That's intimidating. So maybe doing a male feed only, or a male heat only, female heat only, potentially. But it still seemed to go well, even still. So we have 13 teams left at this point. First round, everybody seems to make it, no big deal. The second round takes out quite a few teams. Like, I could not believe how many teams were taken out in the second round. The teams that did not make it past round 2 were Kiki and Darrell, although Kiki had a hell of a dive at the end to try to make it. I just love that woman's heart. She just goes for it. It's amazing. Nia and Rodrigo, Ben and Casey also did not complete it. Yes and Emma. Jordan and Kaz, that surprised me. Amber and Troy also surprised me. Johnny and Grant, Bananas and Justine, Theo and Sarah, Kellyanne and Tristan. So, I mean, these are all great teams. It just, they didn't make it. They didn't make it in time. Either one of their partners didn't make it or they both didn't. So round 3, the teams that are left are Tori and Danny, Wes and Zara, Benha and Jody. So just 3 teams left. We then see Wes and Zara in an interview. Wes informs us of his plan. Their plan is animal instincts. So Zara's got animal instincts. I'm going to let her go. Round 4, Jody gets caught. And so then Jody and Benha are out. So now we just have Tori and Danny and Wes and Zara left. Now, if I were a betting woman, I would have bet all my money that Danny and Tori were going to get this, right? I mean, those two are machines. And while Wes is fantastic, I didn't think that he had the wheels to do it. And Zara was killing it. She had some really good slides. But if I were to bet that, I would have been wrong. Because at the end, in the final round, so it's a stalemate at that point, Wes makes it half under the gate. They call it a win. He gets it. One thing I thought was interesting is he actually beat everybody out of the gate. Kind of tucks and rolls, does like a weird cartwheel, and makes it. So, I mean, good for him. Very impressed with Wes and Zara. Happy that they won. Always love to see Wes in power, especially because, sometimes he makes some pretty cool decisions, and it's fun to watch people squirm. TJ and Bryony, I believe that's how I pronounce their name, are deemed the losers because Nia didn't get quite to the gate. She was essentially the last one when everyone was eliminated. So those two are the losers. She had also mentioned that Rodri had hurt his leg in the challenge, so that could present a problem as well. We get back into the house. Bananas says, I say we swing for the fences and play it safe, which I thought was interesting because those two things don't kind of go together. But yeah, that's kind of what everybody is thinking at this point. Keep it simple. We've already voted in Kellyanne and Tristan, and we've already voted in Jody and Benha. Let's just do that again. It's too early to be making any kind of waves. So the Australian team meets and they have a discussion. They are ready to take a big shot. They want Jordan. Now, Darrell, because Kiki's his partner, kind of pushes them in the opposite direction. He's like, look, it's too early for that. I don't want to piss someone off, especially someone that's going to come back. Likely Jordan and Kaz would come back. And then they're going to come for us, which I understand. Danny and Ben also kind of want something similar. They're thinking Jordan and Kaz and then Tristan and Kellyanne get voted in. And if they do that, that's going to force Wes's hand because Tristan is UK. Wes's partner, Zara, is UK. And then obviously Jordan is, somebody he's known for a while. And even though she's UK, his partner's UK, it would really force him to make a decision as to who to put in or to show his cards. Danny at this point is just still frustrated with Tori and her gameplay. So is Sarah. They just, these are people that have played other games, Survivor, and done well. I think they're both have won Survivor. And then they both just won Challenge USA. So these people are not like brand new to strategy-based reality TV. And to feel like their hands are tied, it's frustrating. And so they're kind of playing nice, but they know that once one of them wins, meaning Danny, Sarah, Ben, that's going to be when decisions need to be made, because when they have to decide who goes in to the elimination, that's where all of them, I don't know what the word I'm looking for is, where the fireworks are going to happen. And I think so too. I think once this early part of the game, the playing safe, is over. So I think after this week, we're going to start to see some fireworks. We're going to see some teams frustrated with each other. We're going to see some big moves, maybe not even popular moves, but I am very curious to see how this plays out, especially with these Survivor people, because they are freaking smart. Like, I am so impressed with Danny. And I think he could potentially win it. But with him being paired with Tori has certain people she's not going to turn on. Therein lies the problem. Deliberation happens, and basically what we think is going to happen happens. The house decides Tristan and Kellyanne, Benha and Jody. Kellyanne says, you guys, you're not making smart moves. I hope you start playing smarter. Benha and Jody are pretty chill about it. They kind of understand, but they don't like it. Then we go into the bar night. Kiki had made a joke about, you don't really want to go to these. We're all tired, not into it, but we just kind of fake fun and figure it out. So it looks like pretty much no one is having a good time, except I see Kaz and Zara look like they're having a good time and smiling. I saw Kellyanne eating a French fry, smiling. And then Danny and Bananas are talking. And Danny he's not trusting the BS. And he doesn't want to just blindly follow Bananas and everybody else, which, I don't blame him. But these legends who I love, fully love. God, I've been watching the challenge since 2000. It's interesting to see someone like Danny who does not want to blindly follow the legends and me be on their side. Because normally I'd be like, what are they doing? You listen to these people. These people know what they're doing. But there is he makes good points. And these people, Bananas, for example, are not used to people not following them. So again, this is going to get really, really good, and I'm excited about it. We go into the elimination. TJ is not there because he is on his way to the BMX Hall of Fame, which I talked about this when it happened over the summer. Congratulations to TJ. Freaking awesome. Definitely earned it. So that makes sense why our host from Australia is there, because somebody's got to host the elimination. Oh, who won? Wes and Zara decide to vote in Jody and Benha against Naya and Rodri. This elimination is pretty cut and dry. It's called Oiled Up. You have 2 buckets. Got to collect oil from them. You got to climb up a 12-foot platform. Fill the oil into your trough, we'll call it. There's a measuring thing on the side with a red ball once that red ball crosses the line. Similar, we see stuff like this on Big Brother all the time. So it's going to take lots of trips. It's going to take balance as the oil spills, and endurance. Obviously, as the oil spills, that does become slippery. Naya does mention that it's steeper than she thought. So you have to use the rope to pull yourself up, which also makes it more of a struggle to hold your bucket and not spill anything at the same time. Rodri, you can see, is in pain. He falls several times, continues to push through. He shows so much heart. Jody and Ben-Ha work phenomenally together. And the win goes to Jody and Ben-Ha. So happy for them, but very sad for Nia and Rodri. Rodri seemed like such a sweetheart, and they really did seem like they had a bond that, even in just the short amount of time, they grew to really care about each other. Nia has a sweet, tearful goodbye, and Rodri, says he loves her, and it was very sweet, bittersweet to see them go home. And that's the episode. I know I went through it extremely fast, but that's kind of how the episode was. It was just boom, challenge, boom, deliberation, boom, elimination. I'll take it. I'm not mad at that. I mean, they even took us to the bar. I mean, what more can I ask for? As far as categories, who won and lost the episode, I have to go with... I could give the win to Wes because he, smoked everybody. He won the challenge. But I'm still, so I'm going to give Wes the win. I think he did earn it. He did deserve it. He beat everybody in that, even tucked and rolled and won. So yes, I will give Wes the win, but I'm going to get a soft second place to Danny, because Danny is creating a storyline. He is really pushing this narrative of legends versus MVPs, and it's got me very intrigued. So I've got my eye on you, Danny, and I look forward to see what you're doing. Talk about your wife Kiki for me, though. It's been 2 episodes in a row where I didn't hear about Kiki, and it made me a little sad. So I want to hear about Kiki McRae. That might be one of the reasons why you're not the number 1 winner. Second place tonight for the win. Cringeworthy moment. I didn't like watching Ben-Ha fall on his back in the elimination, nor did I like Rodri falling in the elimination. That looked like it hurt. I'm never a fan of watching somebody hurt. I think best funny moment would be Ben-Ha with the meditating montage. That was adorable, and he is just so cute. I just can't with how adorable he is. Looking forward to seeing more of him. I hope he sticks around. I hope Jody does too. I've been enjoying seeing her on my screen again as well. Best line. Oh, there was one I made sure to write down. Got it. Oh, Zara. This line was phenomenal. So it was right after she did that killer slide move in the challenge and around, I think, round 5. She said, I saw red. I think a demon came out of me. Doesn't matter how big you are. I'll still fuck you up. I appreciate that about her. And that was that moment when I was like, and Zara, now I officially love you. I stand. Zara, I stand. Freaking killed it. Love it. So that's all I have as far as that. I do have just a little bit of tea. So this tea is a few years. It's not that old. A few weeks old, but we didn't speak on it. Sylvia, who we love, who's done many challenges, and she was just recently on All Stars 3. She just got engaged. So congratulations to her. The pictures were beautiful. There were flowers and friends there, and it looked beautiful, and she looked beautiful. So congratulations to her. She's going to be a beautiful bride. And then the last thing being, Challenge USA should be filming here in a week or so, from what I've heard. And the big thing is people from the flagship, the MTV version, are going to be on this offshoot. Now, before, that wasn't allowed because they had plans to do this World Championship with the legends and the MVPs together. So that's why originally the MTV people were not allowed on the CBS version. So I'm assuming that means there's not going to be This is like the one and done for global championship. But Tori, I heard, is going. Casey, I heard, is going. And then maybe, not Amber, because she's super pregnant. But there was someone else that I heard was going to. Maybe Jordan. And a lot of people, from what I've seen online, are not super thrilled about this. Allegedly, Tori said she's doing the CBS one because she thinks the MTV one is going to get canceled soon. I don't know anything about that. I hope not. A lot of people saying, doing 3 challenge seasons in a calendar year, like you should take one off. Which I do think that that's probably a good idea. You hear so much about how reality TV affects your mental health, and you kind of need to decompress when you're finished with it, just because of all the stress. So I suppose if somebody wants to do it, they keep getting called, yeah, keep going. But I would not be opposed to there being some sort of a rule where, like, if there's 3 in a year, you got to sit one out. That's my opinion on it, though. So let me know what you think about that. Curious to see what your guys' opinions are of that. I do have something personal to share, which I don't super love on here talking about my personal life, but I feel like I owe it to you guys. So I am 32 weeks pregnant. So I will be having a baby here pretty soon. So there's a high likelihood that probably the final, I will miss recapping, because from what I've heard, after you have a baby, you're, kind of tired and a little busy. So there is a likelihood in the future that I might miss an episode or two because of that. I'll post on Twitter or whatever so y'all know. But I just thought that it was important to let you guys know, just, I don't know, keep you in the loop. So, yeah, that's all I have for tonight. Follow us on Twitter, Final Alliance 1, Instagram, Final Alliance, on YouTube. We are Final Alliance Podcast. Please comment, subscribe. We'd love to hear what you have to say. And on Spotify or wherever you get your podcasts, we're Final Alliance Podcast. Thanks for watching.